Hi, Kassi.
Eric.
What are we talking about today?
Well, you started telling me a really interesting story. I'm just kidding. It's not that interesting, but I do want to hear about it. And it is a fish derby.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I attended a fish derby for the first time in my life, which I say that like it's a thing. It's not a thing that exists. It's not like I went to like the Kentucky Derby that is a thing. So I went to a fish derby. And to give context, there's a person that I know, a friend that has like a fish pond in their backyard, and they had way too many goldfish somehow. Basically, I think some of the ones they had babies. So then there were like a ridiculous number of goldfish in the pond.
Thank you for explaining the goldfish.
Yes, in case you don't know how fish work. Um,
Or in case you cared.
in case you cared. So they decided they were going to have a fish derby and invite a bunch of people. So basically, I went with like none of us that are coming have any idea what's happening exactly. We've heard it's a fish derby. So logically, we're racing fish, right? That's all we know.
Yeah.
So we show up, and what they had done is they had taken two like rain gutters and like clipped them together side by side and then filled them with water and put like a what they called a fishnish line on it, which I said should have been a fin-ish line because it's already a pun. You didn't need to make it a fishness line, and a fin-ish line would be better.
This also sounds like a Dr. Seuss thing for some reason to
What,
me.
a fin-ish line or a fishnish line?
The fishnish.
Fishnish.
Yeah, I
Sounds
don't
like
know
a
why.
dish. A fishnish dish. I would eat a fish. Is fishnish
Right.
the holiday? Wait,
How-
hold on. Now I'm thinking fishnish sounds like a fish version of Christmas.
Okay,
They celebrate
but how does
fishness.
this not sound like? And then they all got ready for the fishnish dish. Like, this is a Dr. Seuss thing for sure.
Yeah, it is definitely. But anyway, the tangent rabbit hole. So then there were like 12. She had 12 fish that were there. So they took everybody and like grouped them up into the 12, which there was only 13 people, so only two of us had to be on a team. We all like named our fish, and then they created a bracket, and then you would just like race the fish. You'd just like have them in a little cup, you'd dump them in the end, and just let them go to the other end and race them.
Wait, you guys,
And that's-
okay, just so I have this clear, you stood at one end of the gutter
Yeah, the rain
course
gutters,
racetrack. You all put your fish in at the same time, or you put your fish in and
It
you
was
timed
it was
it?
head to head, so it was like a
Oh,
bracket,
okay. A
like a
bracket,
March
bracket.
Madness kind of
Gotcha.
bracket,
Yeah.
and then it was one fish in each lane at a time. And you do a 3, 2, 1, dump it in, and then it would race.
Okay, before we get too far, what was your fish's name?
My fish's name was Sir Gil McFinley III of the House of McFinley from the Scottish Highlands.
And what was your fish going to sound like? Like, if he won,
I mean,
what does
so
your
I was
fish sound
supposed
like?
to, obviously in the moment, because, doing accents and voices in person, especially in like with a bunch of people there, it's weird. It was supposed to be, which I don't know if I can do right now, because I don't know if you can tell, but I have a slight cold, so my voice is not necessarily normal. But it was supposed to be like the Scottish. It's supposed to be back in the throat, and it's like, it's Sir Gil McFinley of the House of McFinley the Third from the Scottish Highlands, like that kind of thing.
Okay. And then what, other than your fish's name, what was the best fish name?
Honestly, I personally think, now, if anyone that was there listens to this, which I don't think they will, but if they did, this is no diss to any of your fish names, but I personally think mine was by far the best.
Yeah, but I said other than yours.
Well, the other fish names were like, there was a Lightning McQueen, which I made the joke they're going to get sued for copyright infringement because you can't name like a racehorse after a copyrighted thing.
It's fine. As you said, fish derbies aren't even real.
That's true. So. There was someone had named one Nemo, but it wasn't. It was something Nemo something, and it was a joke on an actual Kentucky Derby horse name, but I don't remember which one it was.
Oh, okay.
There was like a Meg, like a distant cousin of the Megalodon. So it's called the Meg. There was the person that named theirs Le Fish. So
Le
just
Fiche?
French, the fish. Except fish is not even the French word for fish, so it wouldn't even been
Yeah.
that. But it's like that. It was like those kinds of names.
I appreciate that it's wrong on so many levels.
Yeah. So it's not bad. It's just I feel like mine was the best by far.
Okay. And how did the fish derby go?
So first off, it wasn't for any real prize. This part wasn't. But we did have brackets that we did the same March Madness kind of thing of like who you think is going to win each one. Mm-hmm. And mine, so I was on a team with my girlfriend because like I said, there were 13 people and 12 fish. We collaborated on the bracket, and I think there was 12 fish. So what would that be? Like 12 total races, I think. Mm-hmm. We were right on all but 2 of them. So we had a near perfect bracket.
Dang.
Now, part of that.
That's just bragging rights, right?
Yeah. Well, that's just bragging rights. But the reason why we had a near perfect bracket, partly, is because obviously we voted for our fish to win, and it did.
Dang.
Which is also why we had a near perfect bracket. It couldn't have been better. So, like, every other race, for the most part, every other race was pretty cut and dry as far as one of them won pretty handily. Like, even if it was close-ish, it was probably, like, close by, like, a foot or so. The last race, absolute last race, so title, championship, fish derby, title race. Gil McFinley, our fish, came flying down the track, gets like right near the end and decides to stop, like less than an inch from the finish line. And we're like freaking out, like, move, why did you stop right before the finish line? And it's not going. And then and as we're doing that, the other fish is like coming flying down and like catching up to it. And then our fish decided to just barely move forward and touch the finish line with the tip of its nose, but it didn't even cross the finish line. It like touched it and then turned around and went back. And then the other fish crossed it. But it was close enough that the only way they knew who won was they had to go to one of the people that was filming it in like slow motion on their phone and go frame by frame to see which fish touched the finish line first. And they used apparently.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say in case this is a reference to your question, in Kentucky Derby rules, supposedly by the person that was there that knows Kentucky Derby rules, it's based on whichever horse's nose touches the finish line first. It's not technically who crosses the whole thing first. Okay. So even though my fish did not completely cross the finish line, it touched the finish line first, so they called it as it won.
Well, that's very exciting.
It was. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome, actually.
I think it's super interesting that somebody had the forethought to record this derby.
I mean, a lot of people were filming it, so it's not like it was a one person's
forethought. So lots of people had this win.
But only one person was filming it in slow motion, though.
Oh, okay.
And the slow motion, we needed the frames to see who, because it was like literally one frame difference. There's one frame where my fish was touching it first, and then the next frame it was like not.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. It couldn't have been a better like photo, literally a photo finish. Couldn't have been better.
Are you guys gonna do this again?
Maybe.
Do you think?
When they invited everybody and sent out like little invitations and stuff, because it's like in a group me, which if you don't know group me, it's like a group chat thing, like a messenger
so
thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a text group chat, except you don't all have to have each other's phone numbers. It's like an app on your phone that you can just have a group text. When they sent it out in there, they called it the first annual, which is technically a mistake because it should be the inaugural, because first annual is the second time you do it. But regardless.
And were you pompous enough to point this out?
I did. But lots of other people, I think a couple other people did too. But
oh, good. You're not alone. You've really found your people. That's nice.
I know, right? No, but they did list it as their inaugural or first annual, which means there maybe we'll do it again. I assume we will because it was fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun. Do you think you can get back-to-back wins?
That I don't know. Because, I mean, it's not about me. It's the fish, you know? It's whether or not the fish has the guts.
I know there's no prize. I also know you are not.
There actually was a prize, but continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant for the bracket. I thought the bracket didn't have a prize.
Oh, the bracket did not have a prize, but the championship did, technically.
Do you think there's going to be a thing as like an ultimate winner? If you win, so if you win the derby, you're a winner. If you get the best bracket, you're a winner. If you get both, you're like the ultimate goldfish. Niche.
The ultimate goldfish. I mean, maybe? I don't know.
Because you get like a bronze, a silver, and then the goldfish.
A goldfish.
I want this to be a thing
I won goldfish.
Yeah, like your bracket is bronze. If you get the bracket right, you're bronze. If you win the race, you're silver. And then if you get both, you're a goldfish.
I will say if they do it again, there probably will be a prize for the bracket as well.
I think you should suggest this.
What, the goldfish?
The goldfish. It's like the ultimate prize.
The person that was running it, because there's the person that actually had the goldfish and owned them all, and then there's the person that had the idea to do the fish derby, and they were like collaboratively running it. And I know the one that was running it, not the one that owned the goldfish. I know she had said something along the lines of like she wanted to do some sort of like trophy thing, I think, but didn't have time or something.
The trout feed.
But it was fun. It was a good time.
Nice. Well, that sounds fun. When they got to the end, did you say fin?
Like French, like the fin?
Yeah. Well, no, I guess La Fish should have done that.
Well, yeah, if La Fish won, then it would be fin. Otherwise, it's just like, ooh, somebody should have had a fish from Finland, because then they could have had a Finnish.
Like, yeah, that was my thing. This is Finn. He's Finnish.
He's Finnish? You know what? Next year, I will have a Finnish fish.
Finn, the Finnish finisher.
I want Scottish Gaelic, not Irish. Those are different. I'm trying to look up what Finnish is in Gaelic, but I got Irish and I want Scottish Gaelic. Sir Gil McFinley was not from Ireland. Okay, I'm sure I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but it's spelled Crioch. And
Wait,
anyone that
hang
knows
on.
anything about Gaelic knows it's probably...
Crioch. Okay.
Yeah. The problem is, if you know anything about Gaelic, it's probably not pronounced anything like that.
Yeah. Probably
because
not.
It's probably... Like, it's spelled like Crioch or something like that. I bet it's pronounced like Grok because it's Gaelic.
Probably.
It's
what's that actress? Saoirse Ronan, but then her name like spells like Sorsay or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many Gaelic words that are not spelled, at least for English speakers, they're not pronounced the way that they should be for Gaelic speakers.
It is pronounced.
Okay, so this is saying it should be pronounced. Now, this may be wrong, but it's saying it should be pronounced Crioch.
I don't remember what you said, but I can't wait to edit this and see how close you were.
Crioch, because it's similar to the word in like loch, which is like in the back of the throat. So it's och. It's the Crioch. So supposedly Crioch is how you say finish in Scottish. So that's what I should have shouted. I should have shouted Crioch when it crossed the finish line.
Well, but next year you can prepare.
Well, I got to figure out how to say finish and finish, which if it's not finish, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
But and also only if I win.
Well, no, I was going to say it's like actors and stuff when they prepare an acceptance speech, but you also have to practice your losing face, You gotta be like, oh,
Lucy, you gotta practice accepting your loss with grace.
Yeah, exactly. Like when the camera pans to you and you have to be like, oh, they deserve that more than me. I didn't even want it. They, once I saw their name, I knew they were going to win, right? But you have
the other thing I got to practice is if we do it again, I got to practice my Kentucky Derby like horse race announcer voice. The talking really fast thing where you're like, they're coming around the stretch. Here comes some of them. They're fading fast, like that kind of talk.
Yeah, but are you gonna do like a bit of an accent with it, or is that pretty much going to be your voice?
But I think I need to practice it because we joked about it this time, but I'm like, I'm not good enough at thinking quickly enough to like necessarily do that, so I'd have to practice it. to
Maybe
like,
write yourself a script.
Here comes Nemo. Nemo comes flying down the first stretch, like those kind of things.
They're like, Nemo's not even in this race. And you're like, I know, but that's what I wrote down.
You're like, but that's what the script says. It's what the teleprompter says. Get a whole teleprompter just for the fish derby. So anyway,
yeah, that's exactly.
You said you have multiple stories to tell me.
I was gonna tell you about. We went to a haunted maze recently.
What? Okay, so okay. Before you get into the story, I just have to ask because you told me about like that you were going, but you never told me about the story because obviously you want to tell me the story here.
Yeah.
But I've wondered ever since the get-go you've told me about this. What makes it haunted? Is this like a haunted house where it's just supposed to be scary?
Yeah, I have a lot of comments about this part in general. Okay. So let's start there. Haunted corn maze is how this was marketed? Yeah. It was in fact haunted. There were jump scares, intentional and unintentional, I'm sure.
Unintentional. What's an unintentional jump scare?
We will get to that.
Okay.
But also, was there corn? Yes, you were walking through a cornfield. However, was it a maze? No. At no point were you allowed to pick your direction.
It wasn't a haunted corn maze. It was a haunted corn path.
Yeah, it was a haunted corn path. I personally...
Yeah, but that doesn't... The marketing is not there to say, hey, you want to come down to the haunted corn path?
They could just call it haunted cornfield. Even that's fine.
Cornfield. Well, yeah, I guess, but yeah, but path really path doesn't sell it. It's like, come here there, y'all. Let's go down to the haunted corn path. Like
haunted corn path. You're gonna
Let's go on down to the haunted corn path. You're gonna be scared silly. Yeah, it doesn't have the...
Yeah, well, when you say it like that.
No. It's not the voice. It's the path.
Okay, so that was my thing. Because the thing is, I really wanted to do a corn maze. I don't care if it's haunted or not. I think corn mazes are fun.
Is it the maze or the corn part?
I think the maze is fun.
So a hedge maze would be fun, too.
Hedge maze would also be fun. It's just where I live personally.
How do you feel about Pan's Labyrinth?
I feel like that's a haunted maze.
Well, yeah. That's a haunted, possessed / monster-infested maze.
That's what they should call it. It should be Pan's corn path.
Pan's corn path. I can see it now. Driving down the highway, see a billboard. Turn left on exit 135 for Pan's corn path.
But you would be interested.
I would at least Google it. Probably. I'd want to know what it was.
And let me ask you, if you're driving on the road, you see this, you Google it. you see that it's a haunted corn path.
Haunted corn path. Pan's corn path is wild.
It's $5. Do you go?
For $5? If I was like had no reason to do, I wasn't doing anything else, maybe.
Yeah, you're just heading home. Nothing, no plans.
Pan's corn path.
I don't know why that's so funny.
I could just like, I'm trying to imagine every imaginable what that could possibly be other than that.
Especially the voice we were doing earlier. Welcome to Pan's Corn Path.
Come on down on exit 135 off the highway for Pan's Corn Path. You ain't never seen anything like it. That's wild. That's such a ridiculous idea, though. It's so good. I wonder. Okay, so if you picture this, we're driving down the highway, right? Driving down the highway. Okay. On the right, you see a billboard that says exit 135, and it says Pan's Corn Path, $5. And then on the left, you see another billboard that says exit 136, Haunted Corn Maze, $5. Which one are you going to?
Pan's Corn Path. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. You have to go to Pan's Corn Path.
Oh my gosh, for sure. I'm crying. That got me.
Pan's Corn Path.
Pan's Corn Path.
Welcome on down to Pan's Corn Path.
It's a path of corn, and I'm Pan.
I'm Pan, and this is my here path. My corn path. Okay, so anyway, it wasn't haunted, or it wasn't a maze, you're saying?
I'm sorry, let me compose myself 1 second. Oh my gosh. No, it was, sorry. I don't know why that got me so hard. No, it was not a maze. It was just, and so you wandered through it. It was really cool. It was cool. They put a lot of work into it. The actors really committed. It was great. I thought it was a good time. So we went with a group, my husband Trey and I. There were 5 of us, and we were discussing about like who should walk in the front, because you're obviously going to be the person that gets the biggest scare, right?
Yeah.
And so Trey got voted to walk in the front. And for sure, so
is that because he's the least jump scareable, or was it just because
I think
you're
because
like, no, you can defend us kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it was you can defend us. I think he was the least scared. And basically my sister and my brother-in-law's girlfriend kind of wanted to be in the middle, right? Yeah. So my brother-in-law was in the back, Trey was in the front, all the girls are in the middle, right? So we're fine. So they're timing it, right? So your time, they like let a group go, they give it a few minutes, they let the next group go, everything.
Yeah.
So we go in, we're starting, it's really cool. You're like walking through the maze. They have like flames popping up off in the distance. You can hear chainsaws and whatever, all this crazy stuff going on. Except what happens is the group in front of us had like stopped, right? So we caught up to them. And so we're bunched together to this point where the actors will pop out of somewhere, scare the group in front of us, then they're retreating back into their hiding spot. They're supposed to, I assume, count 30 seconds, pop out again, whatever. Except the way the timing keeps working out is they pop out, like Trey walks by, I walk by, and then right around my sister and my brother-in-law's girlfriend, the people would pop out again. The people who wanted to be scared the least
were the ones that were timed like right in the middle of the group.
Yeah, and it just got timed perfectly that they kept getting all the jump scares because we were too in the front. We were too close to the group in front of us, and yeah, it was crazy. But like I said, they did a really good job. It was elaborate. It was I'd have to look up how long it was, but it was a long maze.
Path.
So they put a lot of effort in to make sure that you kept having scares and stuff or whatever. So what got me though is you would be walking along, and so sometimes you're in the cornfield. Sometimes they have built like a building that you're wandering through kind of thing. And like all that kind of stuff. So it's like different environments that you're in.
Yeah.
However, as you're going along, sometimes in between the corn, or you'd walk into a room and like tucked around the corner of the wall, is a security guard, but they are like standing completely still, not making any kind of emotion or movement towards you.
But they're like probably legit security guards that are actually there for like the purposes of security.
They're actually there for security. And so like you come in and you think they're gonna pop out at you or say something or whatever, right? And they don't do anything, which is actually almost scarier when you're anticipating someone to like chase you or something like that, right? Yeah, it was so funny. The amount of times we got scared by the security guards. It was
like
wild.
Turn a corner and they're just standing there creepily.
They're just standing there. They're like tucked up between the corn or like in a corner. And it was just, and then, so they have to do like rotations, right? Like each security guard, I think, had like a section, and they have like little passageways for the staff. So then like a security guard would just like slip in between the groups. So then he's like following you. And then all of a sudden you turn around and he's gone. And you're just like, where'd the security guard go?
Like, I don't know why.
Or so you would turn around and suddenly someone would be there. And you're like, you're not part of our group. What's going on here?
So,
like,
I don't know why, but you said they're just standing like between the corn. And I'm just picturing like a security guard like bunched up, like his arms like smushed up in tight, so he like feels skinnier, like smashed between the corn stalks. Like you turn the corner and he's just like, don't look here, I'm just corn. As he's just like smashed into the corn.
No, that's like kind of what they were doing, because they're trying to like not interfere with the maze, right? So they're like trying to like tuck up into a corner. But then there's also something like creepier about someone being like hiding in the shadows and you see them. Yeah. It's like, it was really wild.
I mean, I get that the whole thing is like the jump scares, but what I don't get about haunted houses and haunted Pan's corn path is I don't get like, I get the jump scares, and I get that sometimes making them look scary as a jump can lend to the jump scare, but I'm like, fundamentally, you know you're not in danger. Unless they're like somehow you're able to trick your brain enough that you're like, oh, maybe this crazy person's actually going to stab me. It's like, no, you know you're not in danger. So other than the jump scare, I don't get when people are like actually scared of it. Like when they have that, like they're constantly anxious and scared. It's like, unless you're scared because of the jump scares that you know are coming, it's like, why are you frightened of the environment? To me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I feel like if you were a certain age, right? If you're like a preteen, maybe the environment would be scary enough. But yeah, and maybe the jump scares would be scarier. But I know. I thought it was fun. I had a great time. They did a great job, but I just wanted to wander around a maze and then scare myself by the fact that I'm like, am I ever going to get out of here?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, it's why like that we've talked about before, that like, not really a game show, I guess, but like that reality show we said would be funny to make, where the whole premise is to just like absolutely traumatize somebody as much as possible, and from like scaring them basically. Yeah. But it's like the reason it would work is because they wouldn't be expecting it. They're not going into it going, oh, this is a haunted mansion. It's like, no, in their mind, they're on this show where you just want them to like walk through the woods, and then you're just like planting things to frighten them, like speakers that play weird noises in the woods, or like we've talked about, of like you could have just baby dolls just randomly around that like they look and then they look back and it's gone because like you have someone that's hiding that moves it, or it's like on fishing line, so you could just like have it pull away and disappear. But it's like, that would be more effective because your people going through it do not expect it to be frightening.
Right. I totally forgot we had that idea, and I completely forgot that entire conversation we had till just now. And now I'm a little bit creeped out again.
So. That's because it would work so well. We had so many ideas. Like I don't remember what we said the premise would be initially, but like if you got people, obviously you'd have to have them sign waivers, so if they get freaked out, they're not going to like sue you for being jump scared.
Yeah, but I think the general idea was, it was like a survival show. You're just taking a hike through the woods from point A to point B.
That's supposed to take like 4 hours or something, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to take like a larger portion of the day by yourself, whatever. And so people go into it thinking it's just a hike in the woods, and then they start coming across odd things.
Like even things like one of them I think was just the door, like the door in the middle of the path that they have to either walk off the path to go around or like open the door.
Yeah.
But like if they were instructed beforehand from like their quote unquote safety person that was like, don't, whatever you do, don't go off the path because like the trail is like the safe path. We've like scouted out around it, but it's not super safe to go off the path. Then it's like you see a door, it's like you go off the path to go around it, or you just open the door and walk through it. But that's a bit weird when you're not expecting it, right?
What was your decision? I remember when we were talking about this, I said you're walking through the forest, you're on a path, suddenly there's a door, and like there's thick brush on either side. Do you go through the door?
I said I'd go through the door, but that's because I don't really believe in like the fae or like enchanted doors and stuff. Like
even if you don't, somebody put that door there.
Yeah, but like it's a door. It's not gonna like curse you when you walk through it.
It's not the door, it's what's on the other side of the door. You open the door, what's there? You don't know.
It's a door. You could lean your head around and see the other side.
I mean, depending how wide the door is, yeah.
If you could somehow rig mirrors that if you did look around, you wouldn't see anything, but when you open it, there's like a jump scare, that would be terrifying.
Oh, that'd be so scary. I don't know. It's weird because, yeah, like haunted houses, haunted maze, I don't really get scared. I mean, yeah, like sometimes I'll get like, you know, like if they come at you, you're going to kind of almost flinch, you know, just out of reaction. It's not that I'm scared. It's just like that's your natural kind of reaction kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
it's like a flinch.
That stuff doesn't scare me. But if I was in the woods and I came across the door, I'm going home. I don't want to know what's on the other side of the door. My own imagination will make that terrible for me.
And what's crazy is that it's like there's nothing. It's not like there's a wall that it's in the middle of. It's like you could walk around the door. It's just a door.
I think my favorite when we were coming up with ideas for this is you asked me about if I'm walking along in the forest. I come up into a clearing, and it's like I have to go through this clearing, right? And in the middle of a clearing is a refrigerator, and it's running, but it doesn't seem to be plugged.
Like cords or electrical stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be plugged in anything, but it's running.
And I was picturing, I don't know if you were, but I was picturing a slightly older fridge, so like you can hear the hum of it running too, pretty audibly.
No, I mean I was picturing like a new fridge because I don't know why. Also, something about a new fridge. It has a lot more storage space, I guess.
Like a brand spanking new like glass front fridge.
Those big double door fridges. You're like, how many, things are in there? I don't want to be like super weird and like freaking people out. But you asked me if I would open the door, and I was like,
like there's so many things you could put in a clearing that would be just freaky and like psychological. Because we also said like you walk into the clearing, and if there was just like a bed, just like a regular twin bed that had like made sheets and like a nice clean sheets and fresh pillow and everything like you would find in a hotel, but like a twin size bed just in the center of the clearing.
Yeah.
Especially if like you had been driven out to this location for like the quote unquote TV show, and it was supposedly like 4 miles, or not 4 miles, but like 4 hours away from any civilization, right? Like it's not somewhere there should be a bed in the middle of the clearing.
I feel like it's a different kind of fear factor. Like the show Fear Factor.
Well,
I just feel like this is different. It's unlocking different fears, because that was another thing, is it was like, what if I needed to get a key to open a door that I don't want to open, but the key was under a bed in a clearing? And
it's that exact same bed, but the key is under it, and also the grass is like tall enough that it's brushing the edges of the bottom of the bed, so you can't even like see under the bed. You have to like crawl into the grass under the bed to get to it.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, that's I don't know about this. I don't know, because it's interesting.
Well,
Haunted house,
even outside of like creepy stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's the perfect place for like snakes and spiders to live. I wouldn't want to go under there anyway.
For me also, the thing is, even if it was a TV show, right? Then you wonder, you're like, but how long has this been sitting here? You know what I mean? Because you're like, what has shown up since they came and put this here, right? So there's still like a scary kind of element to it. But I think if you knew it was a TV show, it would have that haunted house feel where you're like, it can't be that dangerous.
Well, and that's why you have to try to lose, like one of the things we said you'd have to do is quote unquote lose contact with the quote unquote person on the show, so that they think in their head something's not right. Because you say you give them like a walkie-talkie, and the whole time you're like, you can radio us, we'll be radioing you, checking in on you like periodically, and you do that for the first like 20 minutes of their hike, maybe first 30 minutes. Or maybe even the first hour, far enough in that they like can't really turn around practically. And then you have like one of the times you're talking to them, you have it like crackle and cut out, and then they can't seem to contact you back. And then you don't contact them for the rest of it. So they think that something's gone wrong and the radio's not working.
I'd be so upset.
Because then they're going to be more nervous about that anyway, and then all the other stuff starts happening.
Yeah, I'd be so upset. I would be internally freaking out.
Well, I mean, definitely. We talked about like the one where you have like you walk into a clearing. I think we originally had said like a human, like the people. So basically the idea was like you walk into a clearing, you see an old-fashioned TV that seems to be playing, like turned on and running, facing a couch and the TV's facing away from you so you can't see the screen. It's facing a couch, and on the couch is like a very stereotypical like family, right? But I was like, you know what would almost be creepier instead of living people is if you had like mannequins. So you had a very stereotypically dressed family of mannequins sitting on the couch, and then when you get to the TV, it's like static. It's not even running anything.
You know what I really hate? It's if one of those mannequins was just someone in a bodysuit. And then they started like every time you turned around, their arm was like in a different position or something, or their head was turned. See how I'm freaking myself out.
All 4 of the mannequins are people in bodysuits, so they can all move. Like you turn around, turn back, and like multiple of them have moved positions.
Yeah. See, this is freaking me out. If I was in a haunted house, totally fine. You put me on a show.
This would be I'm more terrifying than
now I'm freaking out. Now I'm like, my brain is spinning. I'm coming up with worst case scenarios on my own. This is why I could just do a corn maze. I don't even need to be haunted. I'll take care of that part all on myself. Pan's corn path.
You don't need to do whatever this nightmare show is.
That's what the nightmare show is.
Well, the problem is we said with this show is like even if you made a show, we were like, you'd either have to film like 7 seasons before you ever release the first episode, or you'd only ever be able to do one season because after you release it, people are going to know going into it what they're expecting. And it's like, it's not going to be as effective unless you only pick up contestants that have never seen the show or even heard about it.
I feel like that's the hard part with shows like that, right? People start catching on eventually. And then you can't really do it the same.
I mean, you could change things, but if they know it's the show, then suddenly you instantaneously have that trigger in their head where it's like Haunted Mansion, and you're like, oh, it's all set up.
This is all fine. But when you think something's gone wrong, then that would freak you out more. You start just doing it in different locations. You put them on a boat, and then everyone else vanishes.
Can you imagine if you could somehow put someone on like a boat that's like not tiny, but also big enough that could do not a cruise ship, but also not like a tiny little boat, right? Like you want one that can easily house like maybe a couple dozen people.
Yeah, like maybe one of those big super yachts or something.
Yeah, like one of the large houseboats, like one that has multiple floors and is a big houseboat. And then you put them on that for the show. They go up like stairs to do something. They come back down and everyone's gone. And as far as they knew, you were in the middle of the ocean. Like somehow you just get everyone else out of there.
Yeah, like you have some kind of.
So everyone just vanishes without a trace in the middle of the ocean. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so scary.
And then they'd be panicking also from like a how do I even survive? I don't know how to drive a boat kind of situation.
Especially like a big boat like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because maybe you know how to. I don't know. I've only ever driven small boats, so I don't know like if it really changes as it gets bigger. You know, kind of like having to have a CDL for bigger.
The largest
trucks.
boat I've ever been on is like a paddle boat or a canoe. So.
Did you paddle?
No. Well, so I've been on paddle boats where always when I was like a little kid and it'd be like parents or like older siblings that were doing it. Mm-hmm. And then I've been on like a canoe or a kayak where I was under control, but that was, I mean, it's smaller than a paddle boat, arguably. So
yeah,
I haven't really been on any bigger boats.
But you're scared of the ocean. I'm
not scared of the ocean. I am unsettled by the ocean. I don't like the ocean. It creeps me out.
Is it the way it rocks you?
Thing. What?
You just said you were unsettled. I asked if it was the way it like rocks you.
Oh, no. It's not because of the way it rocks me. No, it's sort of, I would say it's like the fear of the unknown is what I've always thought it relates to. Because what creeps me out is the idea of being in the middle of the ocean. And especially if you're like swimming in it, but even in a boat, but like swimming in the middle of the ocean, even with like a life jacket, and the knowledge that there's, depending on where you're at, like miles and miles and miles of just who knows what below you, like water and just whatever. But because you also can't see it, because unless the water's super clear, you can't see that deep. I don't know. It's kind of creepy to me that you're like, it's kind of like if you were free falling. Well, I don't want to do skydiving, but it's kind of like if you were just floating like 300 miles in the air, right? Like it'd be terrifying. And you can see all of that. And it'd be even, to me, it's even creepier when you can't see it.
I mean, that's why I don't like the forest, to be honest with you.
Why? Because you can't see it?
Because if you look in the trees, you can't see what's hiding behind the trees. It freaks me out.
So what you're saying is my dislike of the ocean, you have the same thing, but for the forest?
That's what I'm saying. This reality show, you put me in a forest and creepy things start popping up, I'm losing my mind.
Wow. So you're going to be the first contestant? You're going to know we did it, and you're still going to be the first contestant?
I'm gonna be like the test run. You know what I mean? I'm going to know it's a setup and still be freaking out.
That is the other gimmick, right? Is depending on how well you build it, you could have people that know it's supposed to be scary and it still works.
Well, much like haunted houses, we said. Like, some people still get scared of Sconted
houses?
Sconted houses.
Sconted houses?
It's different. This is the Sconted house.
Do you want to go to Pan's Corn Path or the Sconted house?
Oh, I prefer the Sconted house.
What makes it Sconted?
I don't know. It's
Sconted sounds like something you do to a pastry. Like, this is a Sconted scone. It's like a regular scone, but this one's been Sconted.
Huh.
Now I'm sitting here thinking, should we look up Sconted and make sure it's not something problematic real quick?
No, let's just roll with it. It's better to not know than to know.
Sconted. Well, everything I've looked up Sconted, there's a Sconted perfume company. Urban Dictionary says something about basically going so overboard and indulging to the point of utter stupidity.
And absolutely no one that uses lingo from Urban Dictionary listens to this, so we're fine.
Well, an Urban Dictionary has such wild lingo for everything under the sun, too.
Just that, like, everything.
Yeah. Like, you could make up any... I bet you... Now, this sounds like a fun game, but I bet you could take any given selection of 5 letters, arrange them as long as there's a vowel in there, at least one, so you can make, like, a word out of it. Arrange them in any way you want, go to Urban Dictionary and type it in, and I wouldn't be all that surprised if there's a definition of it.
There's a lot of slang in the world. So, and then, every group kind of has their own.
Isn't it a little bit like Wikipedia where anyone can edit the entries?
Yeah, I think and that's what I was going to say. And every kind of like city or group of friends or whatever is going to have their definitions of words. And they might put that on there too. And you're like, that's not, yeah.
If we decided what Sconted meant, we could go to Urban Dictionary and add it if it wasn't already there. And it would now live there forever. And people would be like, down the road, could be like, what's Sconted mean? And look it up and there to be.
And we will come up with a definition.
What do you think Sconted is? Keep in mind, it can be both a scone and a house.
Initially, it was scary, haunted, but now I'm not sure. I think it should be something with like being scored, like flaky, maybe even.
I could flaky, maybe layers. I was thinking maybe
layers,
like
a house with
like
shingles.
Heavily decorated. Like a Sconted house could be like a heavily decorated house. So a Sconted house is not necessarily scary. You could have a house that's got like a lot of like Christmas decorations up, and it could be a Sconted house.
Or I like to think of those old Victorians that have all the scalloping. That's a very Sconted house.
A lot of extra decorative architecture makes it a Sconted house. And then if you have Sconted scones, they're like extra decorative scones.
They're extra decorative scones. When we wear our Christmas sweaters, it's really Sconted outfit.
Really Sconted. You could make a gingerbread house and be like, it's heavily Sconted.
Heavily Sconted.
You could actually just throw a party and be like, don't worry, the decorations will be fully Sconted.
I can't, no.
You could. Just saying, you could. You may not want to, but you could.
I just meant you just came to a party at my house and it was not heavily decorated.
I would say it was barely Sconted. It was Sconted, but only weakly Sconted. It was like half Scont.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge of a Scont.
Are you putting this in Urban Dictionary? We need to make sure that we...
No, but I'm going to put it in the title. I think I'm going to put Sconted in the title. Anyway, why did you have carrots? Because in like your little, on our topic thing, you had carrots and then haunted corn maze.
Those are separate topics.
But you had them in the same line, so I wanted to know if carrots played into it.
Carrots do not play in the haunted corn maze. There was not a carrot patch as well as the corn maze. It's a separate thing. I don't know why. Entirely.
So earlier when you said the one thing that really got you, I was waiting for you to be like I turned a corner and there's just a carrot patch and I was like, ah!
I hate the color orange.
I hate the color orange and also carrots. I hate good eyesight.
No, the security guards got me, and then one time somebody opened up a false wall, and that but it was like right when I went by, and that kind of got me.
You know that moment when your brain like fills in the gaps of someone's sentence before they finish their sentence? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said, the security guards got me, and one time someone opened up and my brain was going to think like a can of beer or something. And I'm like, that frightened you?
Yeah, it was the little pop.
It's like the security guards, and then someone was like, open a can, and you just heard that little so
I
was like,
metal popping, it just freaked me out.
You know, sometimes when you're like worked up like that, anything will set you off, you know?
That is so true. No, I
anyway,
thought you would just think this was a funny story. So I like to do meal prep before the holiday season kicks in. That way I don't have to cook.
And for you, that's like a 6-month period in the entirety of winter.
Exactly, the entirety of winter. So holidays, like snow, weather, whatever events, I don't want to cook dinner. So I make a bunch of freezer meals so I don't have to cook dinner. Anyway, that involves a lot of prep work. And I do this with my cousin's wife. So we try to like prep the day before, and then the day of we like assemble all the meals. I don't remember why. I was like really wore out, and so I didn't get all my prep done. She showed up the day we're like putting all the meals together. And I'm telling her how I've just been really tired and I don't want to chop all of the carrots. It's like a whole bag of carrots.
Uh-huh. That's like whole bag of carrots. That's like maybe.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Like this
10?
is a whole bag of carrots from Costco. It's a lot of carrots.
20.
And I didn't want to chop them.
That's still only like 20. That's not that many carrots.
It gets worse, Eric. Okay. Hold on. So much worse. So
I'm just saying it's not that many carrots.
Sweet.
Continue.
And she's like, I'll chop them for you. I don't mind. That's totally fine. And I'm like, thank you. That'd be great. And I said, listen, here's what I don't want to admit to you. I have an automated slicer.
Wait. You're telling me that you could not handle chopping 20 carrots by machine?
Like, you just cut the ends off and then feed it through the top and it'll slice them. Yeah.
What? You were so I can't even say lazy. You were so no,
yeah.
What? You couldn't handle taking like 20 or so carrots and putting them through basically a machine.
Couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
How did you even make it through the day?
No, to be honest with you. I had done so.
Did you get up and you were like, oh, I need to make myself a sandwich. Oh, I can't get the bread out of the bag and put it in the toaster. That's too much work.
It's just like, like, it's like the coolest thing since sliced bread. I just want pre-sliced carrots. I'm just kidding. I don't. They would be way more expensive.
That's insane.
I told her in the moment. I said, listen, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but I actually have a thing that will slice them. You just have to stand here and feed 20 carrots through here. And then we'll put them in the meals they need to be in. And she thought that was hilarious. And she's like, no, I'll do it.
I mean, even if my math is wrong, even if my estimation and picturing in my head is wrong, even if you doubled it to like 40 carrots, that's still not that. That's you got a machine.
You it got worse. I told you, but I just thought that was so funny. I had to tell you about it, that I was too lazy to chop carrots, and then I had to admit that I'm not even chopping the carrots.
I googled how many carrots are in a Costco bag.
Is it 20?
Carrots, and because it told me. It decided that I wanted to know baby carrots, not regular sized carrots. So there's roughly 80 to 96 baby carrots in a 2-pound bag. Why I need to know that, I don't know.
I mean, you're Googling how many carrots are in a bag. So they're just trying to give you the information you're asking for.
I guess it's no weirder than my actual question.
I don't know why you're mad at them because you Googled something.
Okay, here we go. A 6-pound bag from Costco typically has 30 to 40 carrots in it.
The point was...
And if you don't know what Costco is, assuming you don't live in the same state we do, and I don't know how nationally Costco is, it's a big box store.
Bulk items. I don't know. Okay, but either way, it's bulk items. So what I'm telling you is I was so lazy the other day, I didn't even want to stand in one spot and feed carrots into a machine. That was where I was at.
No, but that does happen, right? Those days where you're like, I'm so lazy, I don't even want to do an automatic job.
And
you're like, I have so little energy. I don't even want to do a job where all I'm doing is just flipping a switch.
And I want to say also, I did get up at 4 that morning and immediately start cooking and putting things together.
Okay, but don't say the get up at 4 like it's outside of your norm. I mean, yeah, you got up at 4 and immediately started cooking, but you get up at 4 every day.
But I just meant I wasn't having a leisurely morning. I mean, it was leisurely in that I wasn't doing manual labor, but...
I don't know. Most people, you know what? There are people in third world countries that would gladly stand there and put carrots through a machine and call that leisurely.
I already said it was lazy. And I already said I wasn't doing hard labor. I don't know. I've admitted my fault. I don't know what else you want from me.
I want you to have the energy to stand there and grind carrots with a machine.
Maybe next year.
I would have just cut them by hand and I would have been happy to do it.
All right, next year I will enlist your help.
No.
Can't take it back now.
No.
Nope.
We already talked about this. The only way I'm helping you with your meal prep next year is if you pay for and help make all of my meal prep so that I can just have the meals as well.
Not pay for, but if you bought the supplies, I would put your meals together.
No. You pay for it. I'll be free labor.
No.
Nah, come on. Just think how many carrots you're going to have to do next year.
I mean, less if I don't make you meals.
Not less, because you didn't make me meals this time anyway.
I'm just meaning less than if I made you meals.
Uh-huh. Speaking of carrots.
Yeah, please, go on.
I was having this debate with my girlfriend the other day, because she doesn't like water chestnuts, and she thinks water chestnuts are nasty, and it's a texture thing for her. She doesn't like the texture of them. And then we were debating, I don't know how it came up, but she described them as crunchy.
Yeah.
And I was like, water chestnuts aren't really crunchy. And then I was like, I don't remember how we got on the subject, but I was like, we were arguing whether water chestnuts or carrots, raw carrots specifically, are crunchier. And I very strongly believe that carrots are crunchier, and she believes water chestnuts are crunchier.
Here's my argument. I agree. I don't want to agree with you, but raw carrots are in fact crunchier. However, I would say overall, follow me on this thread, water chestnuts are crunchier because they're crunchy.
I ain't following you anywhere.
Crunchy, raw, or cooked. Whereas carrots are only crunchy raw. And I understand the question was, which is crunchier, raw carrots or raw water chestnuts? Is that the question?
Yeah.
I've never had a raw water chestnut that I can remember, so I couldn't say.
Well, I don't know. Okay, so it depends, right? Because I'm saying raw as in like even from a can, which for all I know is probably cooked. So there's a possibility that actually I've never had a truly raw.
Parboiled or something? Yeah.
Yeah, I've probably never had a truly raw. So I'm saying like canned or like from the frozen vegetable ones that have like raw chestnuts in it.
But
like
see, that's what I'm saying.
Like raw
that's what I'm saying. So if you count that as a raw water chestnut and you compare that to a canned carrot, then water chestnuts, right? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but we were saying raw carrot to like the way that you normally eat a water chestnut, which is often like from the can or like not necessarily. So
that's what I'm saying.
Even if that's cooked, it's not cooked.
I agree with you only because I've never had one raw. That carrots are crunchier, but I do think that because water chestnuts are so crunchy, even when cooked, I can only imagine how crunchy they are raw. But as far as my knowledge, I see why you said carrots.
Well, the thing is, so water chestnuts, because I actually looked it up, and the general consensus via the internet, and this isn't just like AI summary, this was like the actual, like multiple different things. Carrots are crunchier, water chestnuts are crisper. So they have like an apple-like crisp to them.
And I agree that
pop, but it's not the same, it's not crunchy.
I agree that when they're cooked. Like I said, never had them raw.
Yeah.
Can't say for sure, but whatever.
But like she was saying they're crunchy, and I'm like but I feel like they're not. I mean, I see what she's saying. I get where she's coming from of like, if you think about a water chestnut, right? They do kind of have like a pop to them. And there's a certain like texture to their crunchiness.
Yeah.
That always has like you said, no matter how much you cook them, I've never had one that you could cook to the point that it was soft. It always had like a pop and sort of a crunch to them.
That is really good to know that she doesn't like those, because that is Trey and I's favorite part of like stir fry.
Oh yeah, I love water chestnuts. She doesn't like them, and I'm like, you're wrong. They're delicious, but you know what? You're entitled to your food opinions. You don't like honey mustard, and you're an idiot for that. So, well, that and so many other reasons, but that's one of them.
I'm deeply hurt by your opinion. Oh wait, no, I'm not.
I don't know why that was kind of funny that time.
I thought there was never mind. I thought that was you, but I just realized that's somebody else.
What, someone else who you're talking to?
Yeah, that doesn't like.
Don't you hate that? I have that so often. I don't know why. It's because like I talk to you at work. I talk to like enough of my siblings. I talk to like my girlfriend. It's like I talk to so many people, and like I talk to my mom, and like in a given week, I talk to so many people so much, and I have so many conversations. And my memory is really bad. Like I have a good memory. I have very bad recall, so I'm bad at like bringing up the thoughts I'm looking for of like memories and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I encounter this so often where I cannot remember who I talked to what about. Or no, Wait, I cannot remember which people I talked to about what things. There we go. That's what it is. Because I'll have these things where it's like, I'll be talking to somebody and I'll be like, oh, did I ever tell you about the such and such? And I'm like, yeah, I was the one you had the conversation with the first time. And then I'm like, oh, you were, weren't you? And I'm like, wait a minute. I have to reframe in my head that entire conversation because that was with that person. And I can never remember like who I talked to it when and what we were talking about. I remember the conversations, but not the people I was talking to often. Which then makes it to where I'll repeat myself or bring up ideas.
Yeah, I just did that recently. I was telling the story of me being mocked by a 7-year-old, and I couldn't remember who I had told that story.
Which one? It happens so often.
So often. I couldn't remember who I told that to, and so that's how I led the story. I go, did I tell you about when I was mocked? And they're just like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay.
The problem is you can't, because you talk to me, and because you can't really lead off with, did I tell you the time I was mocked? Because they'll be like, which one? There's literally hundreds of them.
That's not fair. If I'm talking to you and I said, did I tell you about the time I was mocked? You're like, yes, I was mocking you.
You're like, yes, I was the one doing it.
That was me. And I was like, oh, but you had an accent, so I thought it was someone else.
And if I say, did I tell you the time I was mocked? You're going to be like, which one? Because there's so many of them.
That is so, you are very often mocked by complete strangers.
I get mocked by random strangers. I don't know. Has that come up on the podcast yet? I don't remember if we've talked about that.
No, I think it's coming up in a later episode, if it hasn't yet. But I do recall we've talked about that random strangers make fun of you. But luckily you're not sensitive.
I still don't know exactly why.
But I guess I'll just tell it for anyone that hasn't heard the story. And if you have, just skip ahead, I guess. My cousin's daughter, she's 7. And she was at my house. And she was playing like with this other little kid. And she's like, oh, we're going to play pretend. I'll be Kassi and you be Trey, right? And, oh, that's cute, whatever. And then at one point she runs across my yard just going, oh, Trey. And
yeah,
I took offense to it because I was like, I don't do that. Do I?
Well, and actually, just now when you did it, it was not quite the intonation that I think she had or that like you had the first time you mimicked it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was
How did it go?
More like mocky. It was like well, because you just did, you did like an oh Trey, and I think the intonation originally was more like an oh Trey, like that kind of intonation.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was. But I felt like she even like pitched her voice, which is impressive for a 7-year-old. Anyway, but
yeah, well, I've been mocked by, I mean, not really mocked, but like I have nieces. I have not a lot of nieces and nephews. I have a lot of both of them. But one of my nieces loved doing this thing. She was, I think, like 5 at the time. And she loved doing this thing where anytime me and my girlfriend were there, she would walk up and she'd be like cover her mouth sort of with one hand like she's trying to be sneaky, but say it at like normal volume so everyone could hear it. And she'd point at my girlfriend and be like, that's your girlfriend. And I'm like, where did you even hear that? You're 5. I'm like, you're 5, you're homeschooled, so you're not like out and about and gonna hear it from like classmates or anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think you watch any shows that would have that kind of like mocking tone of voice like that with that phrase. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, that's that's so funny.
But this is the same niece. This is the same niece.
Yeah.
I think I've told you before, but this is the same niece that walked up to me, and at the time she would have been like just newly 5 or like 4 at the time because this was years ago. But she walked up to me and just randomly, out of nowhere, like I was at my mom's house, they were at my mom's house, no context. She walks up and goes, you're not pretty, but you're nice. Oh, yeah. You have a pretty heart. And I'm like, okay.
I forgot
it's like a backhanded compliment because it starts off with an insult that then turns into a compliment. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll take it. I'd rather have a pretty heart than a pretty face, but still.
It's like, you're not pretty, but maybe someone will like you. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It's just wild. It's just like kids. Kids say the weirdest things.
Kids are hilarious. I love their honesty sometimes. Not all the time.
Michael will walk up to you out of nowhere and be like, you're not pretty.
I just I wanted to bring up one more thing, if you don't mind.
Oh, I mind, but you're going to do it anyway, so.
Okay, I am. Halloween is when this episode comes out. You and I are going to carve pumpkins.
Yes.
And I just wanted to let people know that I'm going to post pictures of our pumpkins, probably post-carving. Pre-carving would be very exciting, I guess. So I was going to let people know if they want to see our pumpkins, possibly guess whose pumpkin is whose. I don't know. We put images up on our YouTube, which is Not Really Friends Pod, or on Instagram at notreallyfriends.pod. So either way, go find the pictures of our pumpkin carvings there and let us know whose is whose. I am interested to see what you carved this year because we did carve pumpkins last year and yours came out really nice.
Yeah.
It was good.
Oh, rest assured, mine this year will be fully sconted.
As untalented as you are, you really impressed me.
Mine will be fully sconted and you will be jealous.
I am bringing rhinestones.
You're gonna bedazzle your pumpkin.
Bedazzle my pumpkin. I think
I did have an idea. Have an idea for the pumpkin. If I can interject this,
please go ahead.
I kind of want to do a face, but the idea I had is, you know how when pumpkins get older, they start to sort of like when they start rotting, right? They sort of like pull in on themselves and get shriveled and like wrinkly and like all droopy. I kind of think it'd be hilarious to try to build one that looks like a face.
So
that then when it gets shrivelly and droopy, it just looks like an old person's face. So like it can actually look like it's aging.
That's actually a fun idea. That's a fun idea. I'm a little sad because this year we're doing it on the 28th, which is still a good ways before Halloween. Last year we did it on the 30th, as I recall.
Yeah.
And half of the time was spent finding a place that still sold pumpkins.
Yeah.
So, but
we had to go to, we only went to like 2 places, but it took a while.
But didn't we start just like calling, or I think my sister did or something? I don't remember. But I remember we drove around a little bit. I think we went to a couple like 2 or 3 places. And then we did luckily find white pumpkins, which I actually thought were really cool.
Yeah, it was fun, but they weren't like they didn't even have orange pumpkins. So if we wanted regular pumpkins, we would have had to go to another place.
I don't even know at that point if there were any, to be honest. I mean, we looked, but so I'm interested to see this year going a few days earlier, if it's just as difficult or easier. I don't know. I'm also, I'm interested to see what we come up with. Maybe we'll do multiples, throw people off, you know?
Guess which one is which, and you put like 60 pumpkins on there.
Yeah, guess which one's mine. The thing is,
I did. One of these Kassi did. The rest of them were from Google. Find it.
Well, the thing is, we are doing it with 2 other people, so we could put up 4 pumpkins, and they have to figure out which one's ours.
That's true. We could, yeah.
We could narrow it down, but yeah. So if people want to go follow us on our other platforms, so you can see these pictures, we'll definitely put them up.
I'm not gonna follow it. I refuse to follow our own Instagram.
I am interested to see if you can be as talented this year as last year. I feel like it was a fluke a little bit.
Which is funny because mine was not even the coolest one last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say yours was cool. I said for your skill level, I was impressed.
You're saying it was better than you were expected. You know what? That's why we're not really friends.